Hi there, it's Anthony, and I'm about to watch another episode of The Walking Dead. In fact, I'm about to watch another season of The Walking Dead. We're now in season 4. This is episode 1, 30 Days Without an Accident. So, I guess if I just take that at face value, it's been 30 days without an accident since the last season, maybe. Which makes sense. It seems like the last season ended on a pretty positive note, which I think I talked about before. Seems kind of strange for this show. They hadn't been doing that in the other seasons. I guess it was somewhat hopeful, but it would always have a lot of despair mixed in, which is kind of, inherent in this world. But in season 3, it felt like, it was a little bit more positive as well. So let's go ahead and see how this is going to turn out. I have no idea what to expect this season. I'm wondering if we're going to see the governor again. I kind of hope not. I hope that they hold him off a little bit and maybe bring him back a few seasons down the line so his return will be really whoa. But I guess we'll see. So hopefully we have a new villain this season is my hope. But if the governor's back, I'm sure that'll be great too. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is The Walking Dead, season 4, episode 1, 30 Days Without an Accident. See, it's all nice and peaceful. They got the bird sound effects. It's like he's famous or something. And those are all of his groupies and fans. I wonder if they're going to be at the prison again this whole season. Since so far they've changed locations every season.
You didn't wake me up. What's up with Violet?
Carl, I told you not to name them. They're not piglets anymore. They're food.
I just thought, until...
So you remember how at the end of last season I said I think something might, a part of this season might be Carl and Rick's relationship? Seeing that scene right there kind of start the show off, being the first scene of dialogue between characters for this season, makes me think that even more now.
Mr. Dixon?
Mr. Dixon.
I just wanted to thank you.
This is cool though. It's like our original group are like the leaders now of all this whole civilization.
You always volunteered to do it.
That's because you were always doing it.
There's something brewing here, huh? Oh, it's more than brewing.
It's just gonna come find you.
And Beth even has a boyfriend now? Dang, sorry, Carl. I know y'all were making googly eyes at each other last season. He definitely seems more age appropriate than Carl, though, honestly. And Michonne. It's been such a happy beginning so far this season. Everything seems to be going so well. Like they've got a completely different mindset and ideology about all this now. Before, Rick wasn't really wanting to take anybody in at all, but now look at them. They're taking people in, building up kind of a whole new community.
Glad to see you. Maybe go to story time.
Dad, that's for kids.
Yeah.
He said, yeah. He's like, stop trying me, Dad. I've killed people. Carl's like, I shot my mom in the head. You're telling me to go to story time?
Wait.
Oh, that's a person.
Okay, I know that. But can you please help me get this to my husband?
Oh.
We haven't eaten in days.
That sounds kind of sketchy, I'm not gonna lie. Where's your husband at? Why couldn't he come get it? Tell us some more. He's giving her her knife back. I thought you might, not let her keep it, which would have been fair. See, this is definitely a risk, Rick going over there and helping her. You don't know what could be waiting. This is the kind of balance I'm talking about, I guess. He's helping, but he's not just too quick to just go into it and, be like, yeah, sure, let's go. He's making sure, he's letting her know this isn't a game, all that.
People kill people. They still have names.
Have you seen what happens?
You got a point.
Have you seen someone die like that?
Yeah, I have.
Don't name them.
This is so weird. I feel like Nickelodeon or something all of a sudden. I've never seen a scene like this on The Walking Dead.
I'm gonna head up there too.
Is that, what's his name?
Catch you later, young sir.
Oh, snap. Is that Greg?
Army came in.
From Everybody Hates Chris? Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything other than that show, but that's one of my favorite shows. Like, growing up, that was probably my favorite show out of any show. I loved that show so much. Also, it was very interesting seeing Carl kind of just mimicking what Rick said to them. And I don't know how, intentional that was, if he was really conscious of that. I don't know if he took what Rick said to him and applied it to this, or if he just didn't see the somewhat, I don't want to call it hypocrisy, but the irony there of him naming the animals and then getting mad at them for naming the walkers. It's definitely a different situation, so I can understand him not really having the same thought on it. It's two totally different things, really.
Make sure it's safe. Grab what you can. We'll come back tomorrow with more people.
It's like everything's been going so good so far, but inevitably things are going to go bad. So, not getting too comfortable. Whoa. Is that a helicopter? Don't do it, man. If it's this much of a struggle for you, clearly you do not need to be doing it. Don't. No, this is not going to be good if you push that in. Thank you. Whoa. Oh, and that made a lot of noise. Okay, I guess it would have been better if he would have just put it in his pocket. Oh no, they're about to fall through the roof.
I was moving fast.
Oh
man.
my
I
goodness.
drove right into the...
Oh my gosh. This is crazy. This is so crazy. They're just falling through the ceiling. Can somebody get Bob out of there so he can go? Ooh. Alright, so stuff went badly for them.
I saw those
When is it going to start going bad for Rick?
once.
Oh no, is that helicopter about to fall in? Oh my gosh, that is going to be really bad. Or something. Like, I always wonder how much more soft or weak or malleable, whatever, Walker's heads are than... Oh no, he's done for. Good thing we didn't care about him at all. Sorry, Beth, though. I feel bad for her. See, I didn't even know this man's name. I'm not gonna lie to you. Dang. Oh no. Sorry, Zach.
Oh, thank God you're still here. This is Rick. And he's gonna help us.
Okay, where's Eddie? Because I feel like there's gonna be something. Is Eddie... What? Whoa. Can't trust nobody.
Don't end it after.
No.
Let me be with him.
Okay, yeah, you're just gonna have to kill her. Shoot her in the head. Rick really doesn't even want to have to do this, man. It's now become very hard for him. See, but this is a situation where, yes, you do need to just shoot her in the head. Yeah, I mean, of course that wasn't going to go anywhere good. Like, while I was like, yeah, I mean, like, it's like, you want to, like, maybe give her a shot, but just given the fact that this is like, they wouldn't have put that there if it wasn't about to be something bad for Rick, Crazy, this kind of stuff the kids learn in school now.
You're gonna learn how to hold a knife, how to stab and slash, and where to aim for.
So the story time thing is like, it's just like a cover. So Rick doesn't want them learning that. See, I think the only thing with Rick is that he keeps on going too far one direction. He's either way too merciless and ruthless and, a dictator, or he can be too trusting and like not even wanting to teach kids practical things like how to use a knife in this world, or not even wanting to take a gun out with him, which obviously he needs to do. But it's understandable why he's that way now. Oh my gosh.
Hey.
Zach.
That's really all you have to say at this point. It's like it comes with the territory. Every time they leave, there's an expectation. 0 days without an accident.
What?
She took down to 3. She had been counting.
I'm glad I didn't say goodbye. I hate goodbyes.
That's almost sadder, isn't it? That, like, you know, in this world, you get that kind of news, and obviously she's sad about it, but at the same time, it's kind of expected, you know? Like, you've kind of already built up the guard for it, or not even the guard, but just like the acceptance of it. Somebody can go in any moment. I hope Bob doesn't blame himself for Zach's death. Whoa. What's going on with him? Is he turning? We don't need a walker inside the premises. Yeah, he's a walker now. Oh man, that's not about to lead to anything good at all. Alright, so I enjoyed this episode. For one thing, it was nice to just get a little bit of levity, I guess, in The Walking Dead for a bit. Of course, that's not going to last long, but cool to see, you know, for the portion of the episode where we did have it, which was a pretty significant portion, things just going right for once, you know, and kind of seeing how they've grown and set things up since the end of the last season. It was just nice to see the characters kind of happy for once and like just having things going well. And it was fun seeing the way that all the, I guess the people from Woodbury that have now moved into the prison have kind of, you know, integrated and acclimated into this place, and how they kind of have this revere for, like, you know, the people in the council and the original leaders and stuff. Like, I mean, like how, like, you know, they, like, the guy was trying to guess Daryl's previous occupation. Like, it seemed like people really liked him. So it was cool seeing how these characters that we've been following and have grown to love so much, we're seeing other people in the show actually starting to see them in that same way as well. That was kind of cool, I felt like. And you know, we, like I said, they didn't necessarily give us a whole lot of exposition, just explaining everything that's happened since the last season ended, but just via everything that was happening and things that were being said, we could kind of infer a lot of stuff. So I thought that was pretty nice. Now, of course, as any Walking Dead episode must go, or as any TV episode must go, things aren't going to be good forever. So they had the little, you know, 2 separate plot lines that were running, the one with Rick and then the one with the group that went out to the store. Like, I mean, those are the 2 main sort of things that were going on. And of course, inevitably, both of those things ended up not going too well. I like the way that they separated them, though. I like that one of them was more of a, you know, kind of action paced, you know, suspenseful, like big, like, you know, big set pieces, like things going crazy visuals, crazy gore, all that kind of stuff. They had that on one, and the other one was like a lot more, you know, low key, subtle, just thought provoking, you know, something along those lines. So I thought that was a pretty cool way of separating things. And also it was interesting to me how both of those plots kind of still conveyed that same message of no matter what you do in this world, things are probably going to go wrong. Because in the Rick one, it was, you know, I felt like it was pretty obvious. He what they were trying to say there, like he went with the lady to go and help her. He trusted her enough to go and do that, and then yet she still went and tried to attack him. And then also he saw it as like a possible representation of what he was headed towards being like before, when he was, you know, kind of going the other way. So it kind of feels like it's this constant cycle of, okay, I'll start going this direction, and, you know, I'll become more ruthless, and I'll just start not trusting anyone, and then bad stuff happens. Then you try to go the other way, bad stuff happens. So it's like no matter what you do, bad stuff is happening, and that seems to really be taking a toll on Rick, because it seems like we're almost starting to watch him go in circles of trying to figure out what kind of person he wants to be in this world and how he wants to navigate it. So that's got to be pretty frustrating. And then even in the other story, and I mean, I know this is a lot more like, you know, smaller scale compared to, you know, that whole struggle with Rick, but Bob with his thing looking at the wine bottle, it gives the impression he must have been like an alcoholic or something. And so he was, you know, he had given it up, and he was trying not to do it and not to give in to temptation. And so he was like, you know what, I'm not going to do it. He decided against it. He resisted the temptation to go in, and even though like the world has gone to crap and all this, he was like, I'm still not going to allow myself to do that. He puts the bottle down, and boom, everything just goes terribly. Like the whole ceiling starts caving in. It was a beautiful scene too, just watching all the holes, you know, the walkers fall through the holes in the ceiling and just like collapse in. I mean, like beautiful in a gory way, of course, but just a really creative kind of setup and scene, I felt like. So it felt like in a way that was conveying sort of the same message. Like no matter what you do, you can do the right thing or do the wrong thing. And it might still, it's not definitely going to go wrong. And when I say right or wrong, there is no right or wrong, but you can do one thing or do the other thing, I should say. And it'll probably still go badly. It might not though. Sometimes trusting someone is the right decision and it'll work. Sometimes not trusting someone and just killing them or something or leaving them to die is the right decision and it'll work out. Sometimes, oftentimes, either one of those things will lead to something bad happening, and that's just how it goes. So in this case, maybe him taking the drink would have not led to that happening, but then maybe he would have gone and done something else that, you know, he would have gotten drunk or something and caused something else bad to happen. Who knows? Or maybe he wouldn't have. But it's like at this point, there's no guarantee that one decision is going to, you know, be for the better. Kind of like how in this world, even though that's still not really the case, but in our world, we had the luxury of at least kind of having some type of idea that if we're making better decisions for ourselves, it's not going to just lead to everybody around us dying or to us dying. I mean, obviously it's still kind of out of our control in some ways, but you know, and so that's why it just kind of, it's interesting to see. The thing is though, that I will say, and this isn't like much of a like complaint or a criticism as much of an observation, and you know, something I'm wondering is how long can they keep this up? Because it feels like this is, I mean, and it's been different shades of it. It's been different forms of it, but this has kind of been the question since the beginning of the series. You know, like, I mean, like how much can somebody keep their humanity in this world? Like, what is the line that needs to be drawn? Like, what is good and evil? What is the right and wrong thing? What is moral and immoral in this kind of world? That's kind of the question that's been being asked this entire series so far, in just slightly different ways, I guess. But it definitely, like the story that we saw with Rick and the lady, it feels like something that we've kind of seen in other ways plenty of times before in the show. Like it wasn't necessarily like a groundbreaking type of, you know, sequence or anything where you're like, whoa, I've never thought about this before on this show, because it feels like something we've seen. So like I said, I'm not saying that necessarily as a criticism or a complaint, but I'm just wondering, like, how long does that keep up? Will there ever be a point in time where they start to maybe shift it to a completely different kind of focus? And I don't know exactly what that would look like, but I mean, I guess maybe, and I hope I'm not like, you know, I'm speaking without thinking enough. This might not make any sense, but like, maybe that's why I'm wanting to see more things like, you know, something between like, you know, Rick and Carl, like, I don't know, like a kind of a storyline that has to do with their relationship or something. I don't know, like maybe just some more. And I know they've been doing character-based stuff, like especially in season 3, but even maybe more interpersonal character-based stuff amongst the group themselves. I don't know exactly where I'm going with this, and I'm not trying to claim to have any better ideas or anything, so don't judge anything I'm saying right now. But like, I'm just wondering where they can take it from here to where, like, you know, maybe that question of, is this humane? Am I, like, how much humane it's starting to feel like that's getting to be a little, you know, that's what they've been doing. And we're starting to just see the answer is there really is no answer. It's probably going to go bad either way, you know? So I'm just wondering where they're going to take it from here, and if they're going to take it somewhere different. It was also cool how they never showed us what was actually Eddie. Like, she was calling this thing Eddie, but it was just under that little bag. And you never really see it. You just see it kind of squirming around under there. Was it a walker? Was it some kind of animal? Like, what was that? You know, they never really make it completely clear. You can make your own assumptions or interpretations, but it's definitely not actually completely confirmed. So I thought that was cool. It kind of leaves it to your imagination, and it takes a little bit of the spotlight away from, you know, the actual concrete side of it, of like what actually was that, and just leaves it more to the, you know, the metaphorical, you know, subtle side of things, where it doesn't really matter exactly what that was. But, you know, Rick, just like her, was seeing ghosts and was seeing things in ways that they weren't. And basically she's kind of become a little bit delusional now from what this world has led her to be. And so we're just seeing a representation of that, regardless of what it actually is under the bag. There was also more reminders this episode of just how bad the world is, even in the midst of all the, you know, niceties and goodness that it felt like we saw. Like, yeah, the kids are in school, but they're also having to learn how to wield knives and where the best place to stab someone is. Like, that's some pretty crazy stuff. And then also Beth, you know, finding out that Zach had been killed and it barely affects her. Like, I mean, I'm not saying it didn't affect her. I'm sure it really affected her. But I just mean, like, you know, it didn't affect her in the way that one would usually expect the news of someone's death to affect somebody in our world. But in their world, it's like every time they leave out, there's kind of the idea that, okay, somebody might not be going to be coming back, you know, and it might be somebody that was close to me. So it's like they've kind of prepared themselves for that at this point. And that's kind of, you know, it's kind of sad to see, but I guess I'm also happy for them that they are kind of able to at least somewhat process it in some type of way. I mean, obviously it's not, I'm sure it's not as easy as it looks. Like, it's not like she's just like, okay, well, he's dead, I'm fine, I guess. I'm sure inside it was still really, like, you know, a lot, but it definitely seems like she is finding a bit of a healthy way to process it. I don't think she was just, like, you know, holding her feelings in and like putting up a fraud or a facade. Yeah, I don't think she was putting up a facade or a front or anything like that. But I do think that, you know, it was more going on than maybe what we could just see. And so last but not least, there was the guy, what's his name? Vincent Martella or something like that from Everybody Hates Chris. Well, he was on here and I was kind of disappointed because I was like, oh, I kind of want to see him have a character on here. But it looks like he just died. He just became a walker. And it kind of came out of nowhere. Like, he had been saying he felt like he was going to throw up or something, I think, in the class. So I don't know, but he seemed to be really sick, like, which would not be good, because if there's like some type of disease going around, and, you know, we already know how bad it is to have like a disease going around right now. So to have that on top of when people die, they turn into like flesh-eating zombies, not really that great. So if he just got sick and died and turned into a walker, and there's the potential that that thing could be going around and could be contagious and it could happen to other people, this could just be the beginning of the end in a way. This could be the beginning of something terrible. Like, even if they just immediately take him out, now that's going to be one more thing they got to worry about. They're going to have to be constantly doing like temperature checks and like constantly checking on people to make sure that they're not sick as well. Because if they're sick, they could be about to die and just turn into a walker. Like, that's just going to add a whole nother layer to things. So I'm interested to see where they're going with that. So go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. And head on over to Patreon for the full uncut reactions way ahead of the YouTube schedule. Till next time, I'm Anthony, and I'll see you all later.